time to get your fix. Come on down, get your horrible gaming review. 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 Wow.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and we're back with another horrible game review. I know it's been a little bit. I know you guys love the reviews, but the reason it's been a while is I don't have a ton of games I'm playing right now, a ton of new stuff. Anytime I get a new game or I play a new game, I definitely get a review out to you guys. I try to go back and do some of the old stuff, but there just hasn't been a whole lot of new stuff coming in. So for me, anyway. With that being said, I'm going to be re-reviewing something that I reviewed a while ago. So, but before we get into it, a few disclaimers. Number one, the word horrible in the title of this video does not necessarily refer to the game or content that I am reviewing, but much more the actual video itself. I do snap judgment reviews here. I'm a house dad with limited amounts of time, so the quality might be a little bit subject. Basically, you might hear my kid in the background. So yeah, that's why. I also, the snap judgment review is only about 5 to 10 hours, though. I did get about 15 with this one. They can't hear you, kiddo. About 15 with this one, which means that I got a little bit extra time, which I'm very happy with. And yeah, because of that, I don't give scored reviews. I don't believe in them in video games. I think they're one of the more subjective forms of art. So I'll give you an overview of what the game is, the pros, the cons, and whether or not I'm going to stick with it. So what am I reviewing today? I am reviewing Red Dead Redemption Online. And yes, I have already done a Red Dead Redemption Online, so I don't know how I'm going to post this title-wise, but yeah, I have recently gotten back into it. I jumped back into it, and if you'll notice, the last review I did was quite a while ago, so I jumped back into it because it's cheaper. I had some extra money, nothing else doing, and a friend of mine was in it, so I got another chance to. So that being said, I wanted to just. I played it. It's been a very different experience from the last time that I played it, so I just kind of want to like share my experience with you guys. And don't get me wrong, it's not all positive, it's not all negative. So what's the overview of it? Well, if you watched the first video, you know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to run through it one more time since that review is a while ago. Basically, you play a created character, which is nice, and then you right off the bat, you create this character who's about to go to prison for something he didn't commit. There is a jailbreak. You meet your mysterious benefactor is this woman. Her husband was murdered by the same people who framed you for a crime. And then basically, from there on, the game really opens up. You can go to the story missions. There is a number of story missions still in the game that you can go to and do that precede you along this story that's set off by the opening. However, you always have to matchmake, and you need to get at least one more player in there other than you for those missions to actually start, which we will be talking about in the cons. Other than that, there are also all these roles that you can do. Usually it costs a premium currency, like bounty hunter, trader, moonshiner, stuff like that. And then those each have their own different way of earning money, way of ranking up, and then way of experience, like getting missions and gaining experience. This includes hunting, collecting things, all sorts of things. There's still a lot to do in the game, but if you played Red Dead Redemption 2 and you're coming over to this game, like the story mode, and you're coming over to this expecting this to just be the online version of that, it really isn't. The premium currency is able to be ground out through actual play, which is nice, but it's a very small incremental amount, so you'll be doing it for a while. You get that gold by doing stranger missions, which are just all over the place. There's also stranger crime missions, which is fun. They're some of the more well-faced characters from the story mission, just around giving you crimes to do throughout the world. These are all considered free roam missions, and just so you know, free roam missions can definitely be interfered with by other players. which was a huge negative for me back when I played this game originally. As you level up your player character, you will get a couple of different Deadshot bonuses, which is nice. You can actually, it's a very small amount of options, but you can play with your build a little bit as you level up and give yourself a Deadshot power that kind of fits your play style. Of course, you don't get the slow motion that you do in the story mode because that would be impossible in PvP sort of situations. But you do get all sorts of other possible powers. I went with the one that allows me to regenerate health while I'm in Deadshot as long as I don't get shot, which is really nice for tanking and staying in combat. Your rank also unlocks all sorts of possibilities for weapon buys, to buy weapons that are better than the ones you have. And this is a standard Rockstar tiered gun system, so don't expect too much difference between the guns, more than like if you have a shotgun, you're going to want the next higher shotgun. It's just better than the one you have, so on and so forth, instead of having a reason back and forth, which we're going to talk about in the pros and cons. In any case, it's easy to play with other people. You posse up, and you can also have this camp kind of situation, but it is in no way, shape, or form as in-depth or as cool as the story mode. It's just one crazy old guy, and you can buy stuff for your camp, which is nice. You get to customize your camp and stuff, but it's just the one crazy old guy in the middle of the camp, which, again, we'll talk about later. All right, that runs the gambit. I do want to just put a little bit of an emphasis on how in-depth the world creation is here. I mean, this isn't a pro or a con, but the world is very in-depth. And it's also very intuitive, such as if you climb a mountain and it's cold and you're not wearing a coat, you'll take debuffs. If you... it rains. It's the same level of detail as you would expect from a Rockstar on the internet, and that's a nice touch. Well, let's go ahead and get into the pros and cons. Let's get through it because you guys know what this game is. You've heard about this game, and I would much rather go over the new pros and cons. All right. I always go positive first. Pro number one is the addition of kind of these timed these events that just kind of take place as you're riding along. One of the things that I had a huge problem with the first time I played this is the world felt so much more empty than in Red Dead Redemption 2, because Red Dead Redemption 2, there's always something going on. You'll just be riding down the road, somebody will run up, they'll be in chains, they'll ask you to free them. Maybe somebody's horse has run away and you got to try and stop the horse. Like, all sorts of these random events happen, and while it isn't in a huge abundance, I was pleasantly surprised that that stuff happens in Red Dead Online now, which it used to not. You'll get a woman run up to you and say, I saw somebody get kidnapped, they're over there by bandits, and then you can just go on that mission and get it done. One of the more particularly challenging but also fun ones is you'll happen upon a group of circled wagons with some settlers in it trying to fight off circling bandits that you have to rush in and fight the bandits off with. Stuff like that really helped to flesh out the world and make it more interesting to play in. So I enjoyed the addition of that. I do want to reiterate some of the pros from the first time because they're just as good as they always are. Obviously, the level of detail I already talked about, but the gunfights in this. I don't like the tiered gunfight system of Rockstar. I never have, but man, the gunfights feel good. They feel so good. You can feel the gun has weight and heft to it. When you get shot, your gun kind of goes off so you can miss your shots. The cover feels real. The reloading feel real. And all the sounds are so good. The cock of the lever action rifles. The loading of the shell into the shotgun case. They're just perfect soundcraft when it comes to the gunfights. It really makes you feel like you're in one of those Wild West shootouts that we used to watch in movies. And I just absolutely appreciated that. That is just one of the things that it's so good that I got to reiterate, even though I already talked about it the last time. My third pro is the diversity of missions that have been added. Back when I played before, there was some strangers around. They all had kind of basically the same, like, 3 jobs. So far, I have not doubled up on a job yet, and I've done plenty of these free roam missions. I have done plenty of the crime ones, though, in complete honesty. Plus, you add in those role missions, and it's really nice. The only thing that sucks about the role missions is they're locked behind premium currency. We're going to talk about that. Because everything kind of works off this weird, almost battle pass-like structure. Same with the progression on the on each one of the roles. As you level that role up, you get kind of perks that you acquire as you go along, which are like tokens to buy special equipment, special cosmetic upgrades, stuff like that. And that's really how you get everything. That's going to lead into my big con, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I do like the diversity of the missions is much better. Also, with the roles, they seem to have added a lot of like extra little things, like the resupply missions for the trader. I thought was really nice, and just extra stuff. There's less boredom in this game. Well, I don't want to say boredom because it was never really boring, but there's less sameness in the game. There's a lot of difference. They've also added all these call to arm missions, which are kind of basically like these swarm horde style gunfights, which is a lot of fun. They've added all these high level bounty hunter things, which I haven't gotten into. I'm looking forward to it. But that kind of stuff is a lot of fun. All right, let's get into the cons. Now, I know a lot of people would say that the cons are you have to ride everywhere or at least to a fast travel station. There's a lot of time in between, a lot of things you can only do at stores, blah, 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 blah. I like that. I like when the game makes me feel like I'm in the world, and this makes me feel like I'm in the Wild West. My biggest problem right now is the prices and the amount of money you have to spend. And the reason I don't like it isn't necessarily the amount you have to spend, but how deceptive it is. Because so you buy the game, you can buy the online mode separate for $20. Great, cool. However, that should allow you to get into the roles or at least get into one. Whereas if you buy it for $20, you're just SOL on roles until you grind out enough gold to start one of those roles. And I'm not sure what they all cost, but I know the Moonshiner costs an insane $25 worth of gold, and just to give you guys a feel for it, you earn anywhere between like 9 and 16 cents of gold every time you do something. So that takes a really long time. Or $10 for the trader. And then I don't know what the bounty hunter and the other ones are because I haven't tried them yet. Nonetheless, they all cost some sort of gold amount, and that's kind of bullshit. I just paid for the game. Why do I have to then pay for the game again? If you want me to pay for your in-game premiumcy and you want to lock everything behind that premium currency, make it free to play. Okay? If you don't, then I'm paying twice, and that just felt kind of deceptive to me. So I got to call it out. Nonetheless, it didn't necessarily detract from my fun. But what did is the fact that you can't really earn anything in this game. You just earn money and gold to purchase things to get them. Like it's not like I can go out and just be a trader or go out and just be a bounty hunter. I have to earn enough money. Just a quick disclaimer, I actually had to stop with that last line that you said and come back to this review a couple minutes later, so if I seem a little off or repeat something, please bear with me. Nonetheless, what I was saying was about the gold and actually buying stuff. Again, that's something that kind of irritates me is the immersion kind of drops when everything seems to be this like monetary out-of-game transaction sort of thing. I mean, there is still a good amount of immersion in this game, which is great, but there's just a lot of stuff missing from what the story mode is to this. Why can't I just, play dominoes with somebody? There is a poker game, but it's only against other people, not NPCs. Like, they should have added all the activities, the NPC activities from Redemption in story mode into this, just as extra stuff to do. Whereas almost everything you do in this seems to kind of be still driving you towards that gold and that monetization, which is a little bit frustrating in my opinion. So that's really basically it. Whether or not I'm going to stick with this game. Yes, I am. I am enjoying it. It is far and away percentages better from the last time I played it. Do I think that it has enough stuff in it? No, I don't. I feel like you should be able to own more property. I want to be able to own a ranch. Honestly, Rockstar, if you're listening to this, and I know you're not, just give us the ability to buy a house. I hate the fact that we're locked into that camp. I like the fact that I can customize it and make it better, but I would much rather
be able to claim a piece of property somewhere and use that instead of have to be stuck at this camp at all times. I'd much rather have a static property that is just in one place that I pick. You could do it a lot like the Moonshiner cabin that you've already done in the game. You could just do that with a house, and I would much rather have that. I know you're kind of trying to stick to that outlaw life, but in fairness, this game would be so much better if you didn't have to stick to the outlaw life. If you could be a rancher, if you could be just a homeowner farmer or something like that. And that's what I'd like to see added into this game. Nonetheless, I am having a lot of fun. It is a great game. Am I going to put it down when other things come along? Definitely. Am I going to come back to it? Definitely. I am enjoying it, and the gunfighting and the gameplay mechanics are enough to keep bringing me back. Plus, this game is really good with other people. I have a friend who plays it, and that's going to call me back over and over and over again. So, there you guys go. I hope that helps you guys out in your decision-making process as to whether to play this game or not. I am going to keep playing it, and I will try and get another review out next. Well, there'll definitely be another review next week because finally Back 4 Blood is coming out, and you know I'm going to review that. So yeah, guys, you can check us out on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link's in the description below. You can also follow us on Twitch for some streaming fun. That is twitch.tv/OldManGamingDH. As long as you guys keep watching, listening, we'll keep making them. See you next time.